is leading the accident investigation with the FAA's support. The FAA is responsible, as Lisa just said, for regulating U.S. commercial space transport. And as I told you earlier, this is the second serious accident in a week for the commercial space industry. Joining me now to discuss what happens from here, is Deborah Hersman. She is the president of the National Safety Council, and she's the former chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. She joins us on the phone from Chicago. What a new industry. Deborah Hersman, thank you for being with us. I mean, people have been, we put a man on the moon in 1969, but this is not the type of thing when you were at the NTSB that you would typically deal with. Obviously, you had some protocols in place. What's supposed to happen when a spaceship crashes?
Well, the good news is there's a lot of people who have thought long and hard about what to do when it comes to commercial space flight, because this has indeed been talked about for a long time, and many tickets have been sold on these planes. And so there are agreements, and NASA, the FAA, and the NTSB have all worked closely to understand if there is a mishap, who is responsible, who is in charge.
And break that down for me. Who likely is responsible in this case?
Well, in this case, the NTSB and the FAA have coordinated. The NTSB is going to lead the investigation. Their GO team is headed out there, and they will conduct this very much like a commercial aircraft investigation. They're going to be following exactly the same protocols, establishing parties to the investigation, making sure that all of the evidence is secured. And that evidence is probably going to be significant digital evidence when you talk about instrumentation, video, audio, data that's streaming from this aircraft. There's probably going to be quite a bit of that they're going to want to get a hold of.
You know, when the commercial airline industry was developed, it wasn't developed around regulators because it was developed a lot faster than there were regulators around. The commercial space industry is being designed with regulators in mind. Are there design aspects of it, like you said, digitally? Do they know that, hey, this is going to be investigated, we're going to have regulators, how do we best conduct that? In other words, is this more advanced than it would be in the early days of commercial airline flight?
Well, absolutely. And I think the one thing that regulations do have a difficult time keeping up with is the fast pace of technology. And so sometimes things are being created that never existed before, that the regulations didn't anticipate. And so I will say that there are situations that investigators are going to be facing when it comes to this investigation that will probably be new for them. But they do have standard procedures and practices over the years. They have investigated test flight crashes that involve aircraft, new aircraft design. And so this will be one that will probably follow some of those similar protocols when it comes to test flights and the unknown.
Tell me a little bit about the relationship that exists between the investigating bodies, the regulatory bodies like the NTSB, FAA, and the commercial space industry. How would you describe them? Are they good? I know the commercial space industry had really asked the FAA, please hold off on regulating us until we've sort of gotten to a point where we're ready for it. But is that a good relationship?
Well, I think that there's two sides to every coin. There's the side that really says don't inhibit innovation, allow the protocols and the market to develop without them being fettered. And then there's another side to the coin about being conservative and making sure that you have looked at every risk, and not just every risk for maybe the operation or the pilots who choose to partake in this risky kind of endeavor, but for innocent civilians who may be on the ground. And so there's always a lot of push and pull in these new environments, and people are always just trying to achieve a balancing act. But I think what we're seeing now, particularly this week with the Antares and this event involving Galactic, it's a risky endeavor. Space is going to be new frontiers, and we're going to have to accept some risks if we want to go there.
Deborah Hersman, thank you for joining us. Deborah Hersman is the president and CEO of the National Safety Council and the